Hey everybody, so this video is going to not only be a follow-up to the last video that I made, the rant that I did, talking about the issues that I'm having with my doctor's office, but it's also going to be the kind of the Clomid part 2 update. I did, and I'll link this video down below for you, a part 1. And it was just basically me talking about my Clomid journey so far. And even though I've stopped taking the Clomid, I was still having side effects to the Clomid and was going through some medical issues. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to tell you about it because I've already made that video and it's linked down here. So go ahead and watch that one if you're interested. And then those of you who are following me regularly and were super interested in the situation that I was in with my doctor's office, then keep on watching. I'm going to be telling you about my results that I got yesterday. Today is Sunday, February 15th. Yesterday in the afternoon, me and my husband were going to go out, have a nice day, celebrate Valentine's Day, and we did. We had a great time, got some just me and him time, and went out to breakfast together and went shopping, so that was really nice. Hope everybody else had a great Valentine's Day. But before we left, my phone rings, and just to rewind for a second, the last video that I made with the rant was around Tuesdays, the last time I spoke to the doctor's office. And then Friday I called again, and I was angry, and my doctor wasn't there, and they said she'd be back on Tuesday, and I said, well, you know what, someone needs to handle this, someone needs to take care of this situation. And I spoke to a nurse, and she, of course, like I said before, didn't know who I was, didn't know where I had the test done, said the same thing everyone else said, that they had the results from the last ultrasound but didn't have these, and so I explained the whole story to her, and she kind of blamed it on the hospital and said that it was typical of that hospital to not give them results or whatever, which, you know, at this point, no, that's not the hospital's fault, because like I mentioned in the rant video, I called them and they confirmed with me in the records department that the results had been sent to my doctor's office twice. So the nurse I was speaking to on Friday tells me to give her the radiology department number and the records number, and she was going to personally call them herself. She was going to have them send her the facts personally to her inbox, and as soon as she had them in her hand, she was going to call me back. Well, Friday went by, no phone call, so I sat down with my husband and I said, that's it. This is just, it's out of hand. I'm lost my cool. I'm not dealing with it anymore. And so I told him, I said, Tuesday, before I go to work, I am going to the doctor's office myself, physically, going to walk in there. I'm going to demand that someone in charge, the highest person that they have there, I want to speak to them, and I want to file a complaint against the clinic, and then I want them to release all of my records to me, my blood work, my ultrasounds. I want all of that to be given to me personally so that I can find a new doctor, which for me is just absolutely ridiculous that it even came down to that I was even thinking of that. I mean, I still want to go and file a complaint, but I'm just gonna let bygones be bygones and move on, because we're moving in 2.5 months, like 12, 13 weeks, we're going to be moving, and I'm going to be finding a new primary, a new gyno, and hopefully a fertility doctor. So it's not like I have to deal with these people forever, thankfully. And I don't know, I didn't want to have to go and find another doctor just to get results to an ultrasound. So the next day, my phone rings. It's the doctor's office. It's a different nurse, but she's like, I have right here in front of me the radiology report, the results to your ultrasound. She's like, I'm not 100% familiar with your case, but I'm looking over your file, and it says here, blah, blah, blah. You had, they couldn't find your right ovary in December, and your left one had a large cyst on it, and this was a follow-up to that. And I said, that's correct. And she said, well, what it says here in the radiology report is that they found your right ovary and it's healthy. And I said, well, are there any cysts on it at all, or any to be, concerned with? And she said, no, it says that your right ovary is just fine. and which is kind of hard for me to believe that there wouldn't be a single cyst on my right ovary, but my left one is just completely littered with them. I don't know. Or maybe there are cysts, but they're just a healthy, normal size and nothing to be concerned with. I'd like to get more details on that, obviously, but so the main reason why I went was because of the cyst on the left ovary. And she said that in December it measured at a 1.5 centimeters, I believe, or millimeters. I'm not sure how they measure it, but it's tripled in size. It's now a 3.5. And she said it's on the big side, but not so big or so dangerous that they would go and cut my abdomen open and take the cyst out. According to the radiologist, that he didn't recommend surgery. He didn't recommend any course of treatment except doing a follow-up in 6 to 8 weeks and having it measured again. So I don't know how big it has to get in order for it to be considered dangerous. It's only been about 24 hours since I got the results, so I haven't really had the time to kind of sit down and do a ton of research. But I am like that. I love to research and Google and, you know, scare myself. Oh, and something else he said in the report was that it wasn't I don't know the term that they use, but it's a blood-filled cyst, is what she said. It's not like a clear fluid. It's not like one of the other cysts. It's filled with blood. So, blood-filled cyst, tripled in size, recommends no course of treatment as of yet. So, I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm really hoping that my doctor will call me next week, sometime in the future, and kind of give me like an official diagnosis, or I don't know. I'm still confused, but I'm glad I got the results, and as soon as I move, I'm going to be having them release all my records and give them to me so that I can take them with me. And then what I think is going to happen is that I'm just going to wait until either, obviously, something, you know, until I'm in pain and I think it's bursting, or until I get to my new doctors and I can give them all of my medical records, and if they see it as a concern, then follow up on it. I really don't, I don't think I'm going to be going, you know, another hour and a half, 2-hour drive back to the hospital, having the ultrasound, and then waiting 2, 3, 4 weeks for the results. So I just really don't want to deal with them ever again, or deal with that situation. And if it's so minor to them that they had a nurse call me and not a doctor, and the radiologist didn't recommend any course of treatment, I'm just not gonna, you know, worry myself about it too much. But I'm glad it's over with, and a lot of you seemed, you know, interested and made a lot of comments about what you would have done in my situation and how patient I was being, so I thought everybody deserved to have a follow-up, obviously. And those of you that were just watching it because of the Clomid part 1 story and me connecting this as the Clomid part 2 story, I hope it helped you. I hope it has convinced you to be persistent with your doctor and make them monitor you, especially if you know that you already have cysts. I know some people don't have cysts and they still have PCOS, and I know it can go the other way around as well. I also know that some of you have PCOS, but you've never had the need to get an ultrasound, so you don't know what condition your ovaries are in. So if you're going to be putting these chemicals into your body, and you're going to be risking these types of side effects, you know, I just urge you to educate yourself not only in the small stuff, and not only look for the videos of, you know, people who had success and how many babies they had and how many rounds and what milligrams they had to take in order to have a baby. Look for the, you know, the bad stuff too. I really wish I would have, if I would have had any idea that I was going to have to go through what I've been going through, and the pain that I've been having to feel every time I ovulate, and the pain that I went through when I was taking it, you know, I just kind of kick myself for it. And I'm hoping that somebody is watching this and somebody is thinking twice. And I'm not bashing Clomid in any way. I know that it works for so many people, and I know that not everyone has to be monitored. But if you like I said, are having issues with cysts and pain with cysts prior to even taking Clomid, I suggest that you do your research and talk to your doctor. And hopefully you won't have to go through what I'm going through. And if you do, hopefully this kind of, hopefully it helps as well. I think this is probably the end of my Clomid journey. I don't see myself taking it ever again. I don't think they let you do more than 5 or 6 rounds, and I did 5 and they were unsuccessful, and obviously have caused me a lot of pain and frustration. So I don't think that that's something I'll experiment with in the future, even if it is monitored. I thank everybody for watching, and if you are going through what I'm going through, or you are having issues with rather large cysts that are same size as mine or bigger, or anything, any advice I would love to hear, any stories I would love to hear. Link me to your videos or just comment below. If you're not subscribed and you're interested in hearing my story and what I'm going to be doing next, go ahead and subscribe. Hopefully tomorrow or the next day I'll be doing a TTC update for everyone, letting you know my cycle day and what DPO I am and what I've been doing differently, what my symptoms are, just a all-around update. And thank you everybody for watching, really, and hope you have a nice day.